Hey everybody, welcome back. Movie review time, where we geek out about a movie we just saw, and we just saw Bill and Ted Face the Music. So basically, it's been a while, y'all. We haven't got to talk about a new release movie in a minute, and we're not in the car because we're not fresh out of the theater. We're fresh out of my theater. 4K, baby. And we just watched it on Vudu, and we're not really movie reviewers, we're not critics, we just like to geek out about movies, and this is one I'm excited to geek out about. So we're going to do this with no spoilers. This is going to be our no spoiler review. If you want a spoiler review...
Dude, something seems totally wrong, off.
Like what, dude? I think you're... Wait, I feel it too, dude.
Yeah, do you feel that?
Wait, hold on, dude. Dude, hold on. Whoa!
Dude!
Excellent!
Most excellent.
Right? All right, so... God, I love being such a nerd with you. All right, so this is going to be our no spoiler review. If you want a spoiler review where we just talk specifics, I have a link in the description below, or something's popping up right now. It's been a minute. But yeah, so just first things first, I have to throw some shade. It is 12:41 a.m. What is it? Now it's Sunday, technically Saturday night. We could have watched this days ago, but somebody was busy finishing moving in. That said, all right, so I thought you would have a witty comeback.
You want to know the kind of day I had on opening night?
Oh, when the movie opened. No, you don't, y'all. You don't.
Let me put it this way. I was up at 7:30 Thursday morning, was working at my house until 5 a.m. Friday morning, came home, basically had a 2-hour nap, and then went back to work on the house and came home about midnight Saturday.
Yeah. It was totally heinous. I knew I would get it wrong. I was like, am I going to be able to do this? All right. I think that's everything we say. So let's just get to it. If you're here for no spoilers on Bill and Ted, if you love the first movie, if you love the second movie, fucking see this now. Long story short, to me, it is perfection. It was a 9-tissue film. Not in the dirty way. I literally, about 10 minutes in, had to turn to Mary and be like, I'm having a Star Wars experience.
He did.
Like, if you all know me, you know a lot of people know me from, like, crying over Star Wars, which, yeah, I do. This fucking blew my mind with its greatness. And I came in hyped. I came in super hyped for this.
He did.
And it's still, like, I was here, and it's still, yeah. I can't think of anything I don't like about it. I can't think of anything I'm disappointed by. There's like, I hid it. I hid it under the shirt so they could see the shirt.
Okay, it looks like it's rubbing against you.
Well.
Okay, I'm just worried about your sound quality.
No, you're right. My lady's right. You know what? Oh, by the way, everybody like the new giant car we're in outside of the theater right after seeing it? Let me just...
Is it good?
Yeah, it's good. It's not making... It's totally cool, man.
Because when I do something like that...
I know, but that's because you don't fill out this tight shirt so much. All right, I loved it. Start to finish. Watch after the credits. That was so charming. Everything about this is perfection. The new characters, the side characters, all the characters are great. I could watch movies of everybody's adventure. All the things I wanted them to do, they did. They played into the first two movies beautifully. And you know what? I want to ask you how you feel, because she wouldn't even tell me yet. But I have to say this one last thing is, of course, with the theater shutdowns, all that kind of stuff, which I totally understand, dude. That is my biggest complaint with this movie, is the timing of when it came out. I'm so glad we got to see it, but it is a freaking crime this didn't get to go to theaters and become like #1 movie of all time. They re-released this in theaters. We're going. I know some theaters carried it. None of our theaters carried it. This is one I might have chanced it for. But the best part about that is I already own it. So I get to go watch it again, like immediately. So, okay. We will talk more about this. Since you wouldn't tell me for some reason, I know she didn't hate it. I don't think she hated it. I'd be very surprised.
I'm still trying to decide how I feel about it.
Really?
Right.
Like,
I think it's partly because here you are amped like 200%. And because I'm not feeling that, I think it actually throws me into reverse.
See, this fucking worried me. Okay, 2 reasons. One, you've been very busy. You haven't really had time to unwind and chill and come into this like, it's a normal day. Like, you've just come off all the stuff you're dealing with. 2, if we're watching in a movie theater, Mary and I are side by side, and I had it loud, but it's even way louder in the theater. And as much as I was... Okay, some people have commented, some of the people on the Star Wars trailer, like, I'd hate to be in the theater with him, not realizing that if you're in the theater on opening night, that's what everybody sounds like, and you don't hear them because it's so loud. I did worry at times. I couldn't help myself. I was so, like, just freaking breaking up in this movie that I was like, I hope those noises aren't distracting and annoying to you.
No, it wasn't distracting and annoying. It's just the fact that you are such an intense vibe.
It was an intense vibe movie, man. Okay, I'm with you.
Because I wasn't on that same wavelength, that it's going like, no, I didn't hate the movie. It's not a bad movie, but I'm like, is it as good as what he's giving off?
Oh, wow, that's a weird perspective you're coming from on it. I'm not complaining about it. I mean, I get that and I understand. I feel bad about it. I feel guilty.
It's just like if I've been watching it alone, I might have kind of gotten to where you are on my own, but because you went poof, and I'm sitting here going, okay.
Well, I mean, it got me right away.
I would have probably been better off if I had known up front who was returning as their own characters and who wasn't. Because the whole thing with Joanne and Liz were like...
Okay, careful, but okay, you're okay.
We're like... Because you know how I am. I sit there going like, I know that person. Where do I know that person from? Is that the same person as before? I can't tell.
Okay, well, here's the thing. No spoilers. We're not going to tell you if it's like just a moment, a scene, or what. And it's maybe in one of the trailers. I will say this. The first teaser, the first couple of trailers, there was a third trailer I never watched. I don't know how spoilery that was. But I feel like they withheld a lot of the movie. From those original trailers. There's a ton in here we did not know about.
Right.
You kind of expected maybe the princesses would be back, at least in the tiniest bit, in one way or another. And I know what we both had the thought is that the original actresses. But I mean, if that took you out of the movie the whole time.
You know how my brain is.
I know, but I
spend time going and one of the other characters going like, who is that? What do I know her from? That's me.
I know. I was gonna say that's a fault on you, not the movie. Not that you don't have any faults.
I have plenty of faults.
I don't see them.
But
no, I get where you're coming from. Now I know because we were at home and you felt like you could talk. I did have to shush you early on because I was like, no, you're talking too much. It's a bit much. For future reference, if you needed to slyly look on your phone to get that out of your brain.
You would have still called me on it.
I said slyly. I said slyly. I was so engaged with the movie. If you had pulled out your phone and angled it away from me and been like, I might not have noticed. Or at least you would have given you
Does
shit.
IMDb have a dark mode?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm just giving you the future reference because I have a feeling over the coming months we're going to see a few movies this way. Because I'm trying to bring back the weekly movie reviews.
Okay, so I'm going to call you on it if I try to do that in a future movie and you said...
That's fair. And honestly... If it wasn't Bill, I feel like we barely talked about the movie. I'm sorry. This has been the spoilers. We're going to talk about the movie.
This has been a therapy session, I think, at this point.
But I can't because it's all right. No spoilers. So yes. All right. Well, how about this? Let's run through a few things. Let's actually talk about the movie so we can shut up and get the spoilers.
I hate spoilers anyways.
I know you do, and it's already been long. But okay. Well, let's try to get into what you did kind of appreciate, what you didn't, and just roll out some few things. Okay, first and foremost, Bill and Ted, Alex Winter, Keanu Reeves.
Keanu actually felt a little off for me.
See, I think a lot of people are going to have problems with that because they're so used to John Wick, Keanu, and the look and everything. And initially, for me, just from my perspective, maybe the first 2 or 3 minutes, just because I'm like, oh, it's Keanu. But there was a moment, 3 to 5 minutes into this movie, I don't know specifically what it was, where it just clicked. I'm just like, it's not Keanu anymore. It is Ted. I am watching older Bill and Ted. They just still brought it. They still felt like the classic characters 100% to me as they had matured. Like, they still had a lot of that youthful energy and a lot of like, yeah, man, like, we're still like, hey, like the way we still have a lot of what we were when we were younger. It worked for me hardcore.
Bill felt like Bill the entire time.
And that may be just because you haven't seen him in so much, so you don't equate him with 1,000 other things.
I wasn't really equating Keanu with other roles. I was trying to find Ted.
Or even Keanu as Keanu, maybe.
Yeah, but the thing is, and then I'm sitting here going like, did they actually make him look older?
No, I think that's just the facial hair being gone.
Yeah.
Because
he was more haggard than usual to me.
Yeah, no, I think it's just we haven't seen him clean shaven in so long. I think so. And I can't say there's a specific example I can give here, but I can't really give it here because this is no spoilers.
Yeah, Keanu looks better with facial hair.
I'll give you that. I'll totally give you that. Little touches, and this is like the minorest of like detail. I'm going to give like a mild spoiler, which is before you jump out. It's like I'm talking about a visual, like a print, something that was on a T-shirt that shows up. Okay, there you go. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to say anything more. But it's like on a guitar strap. It's like I freaked out. It was earned all the way to the end. For me, I was in immediately. Like, it just took 2-3 minutes, and I'm like, oh my god. This feels like a real Bill and Ted movie, and I'm here. It's not like the nostalgia movie 20 years later. Like, it's like, this feels like a continuation.
It did. I think they did, a decent job of calling back to the previous movies.
And explaining, like a lot of people were complaining about. It's like, but I thought they saved the world with the last one. They had a very clever explanation about all that, and the movie even like immediately, this is like first minute stuff, is like, oh, you thought you knew.
It still kind of contradicts the news articles.
See, well, okay, it may contradict the news articles, but it doesn't, because can't say. But at the same time, there's a new element to the movie. I can say that, I believe, that kind of is like, oh. Now, granted, even though we did just rewatch 1 and 2, now I really want to rewatch 1 and 2 and be like, let's look at the specific verbiage that was used in a lot of stuff, and like how good is this new thing? Because I have a feeling if it's as good as I want it to be, it's just more brilliant than you would even imagine.
Yeah.
At worst, it's like, okay, I can roll with it. At best, it's like, wow, you did amazing with that. I think you know what I'm talking about, because of course we're doing no spoilers, but...
Sometimes you think that, and then I'm sitting here going like, I'm not sure we're talking about the same thing.
Well, that's welcome to marriage. Other things, the Daughters. I would watch a frickin' movie of the Daughters.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I've seen the Daughters in.
Oh, okay, so...
Because again, they look familiar, but...
So Ted, T...
Yeah.
I can't think of her name, and I don't know what from, but I know she's a lot of stuff. But I do know. Well,
that's helpful.
Well, I'm getting to, because I know why you know B, and I don't think you recognized her in this movie, because they really somehow, like, I almost said euthanized, but that's not the right word.
With a Y.
Yeah. By the way, we're sitting in weird chairs. We'll fix that in the future. Look at my short thing.
He's all torso.
But B, Samara Weaving. You most recently probably remember her from Ready or Not.
Okay.
I also, of course, know her from The Babysitter, from, oh, wow, I had it.
I'm just going to say, watch our review of Ready for Not, just because we completely rewrote the movie.
That was fun. I forgot about that.
We had too much fun doing that.
Yeah. Oh, God, and now I'm blanking, but she's been in a couple other just amazing, like, horror films and things like that. But she's great. The historical characters are fantastic. No specifics on who.
No, I'm not going to say, just generally speaking, I feel like I wanted more with the historical characters, because I felt they went really light on that, and some of the...
Well, I think for me, for what the story is, I feel like it was the right amount. And I think, again, this is not a complaint.
But you have to understand, I also liked 1 more than 2.
Oh, see, because I'm more of a 2 guy than a 1 guy. I'm more of like the adventure they go on, more so than the time travel element.
But I love seeing, and it's basically the whole fish out of water thing. So, and going like, But there's the pitfall of, in that time period that would not have flown at all.
Well, yeah, there are some things, but
I might go into a little bit more of that in the spoilers, because there's some things where I'm sitting here going like, oh, they have been shitting bricks on that.
They play a tiny bit of that, but again, it's one of those things where it's like that's not important to the story being told. So
they kind of gloss over it, and I'm like,
and I didn't feel bad about that to myself. I mean, again,
I know, but again, you know me.
I know. Yeah, you have I am a lover of cinema. If you nail what cinema needs to be, I'm going to love your movie, regardless of budget or expectations or execution.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting here going, actually.
Yeah, Mary has a lot of actually. That's a really good verbalization of what you're trying to say. Yeah. I did not have that problem. There's kind of multiple stories going on here. And again, it's one of those like good complaints that some of those stories I would have loved more of, but in the context of this movie, I didn't need it for this movie.
Now, if I was drunk, I might have been able to turn that part off. If I was drunk, I'd also be asleep.
That might have helped. That really gross cocktail I concocted earlier. But you know what? I mean, it made me just enjoy the hell out of the movie, which is another thing about watching at home. I don't have to drive. The music, I love it. The music was great. I regret not pre-ordering the sound. Well, I don't think the soundtrack's hit vinyl yet, but I want that on vinyl for sure. You
know what? I just realized, aside from the song at the end, I have no idea what freaking songs were even there.
Hold on. Again, I've only seen it once. I can't say we just watched it.
Yeah.
I can't say anything specific jumps out at me, but I loved everything in the moment. And something you need to know about her, again, when we rewatched the first movie, and this made me love her, but also be like, please shut the fuck up. She literally, like recited the movie word for word the entire way through.
Yeah.
I'm not joking at all.
I had one summer where that movie was basically on repeat.
And I mean, again, I love her for it, but also like, you're lucky I've seen this 200 times, or I'd be like, what are you doing?
I can't help it.
And it's one of her all-time favorite soundtracks, which is why I was bringing that up. We've had a lot of time with that soundtrack. We've had a lot of time with the sequel soundtrack. So maybe in time, maybe more viewings, maybe. I mean, I might give that to you. Again, I'm right after seeing it. You got to keep that in mind when we do these geek out reviews.
Yeah.
It's like, it's how we feel in the moment. You change over time as you see things more and more. But right now, like, I feel like everything was appropriate. Mm-hmm. I love the vibe of the big grand thing. So that's where I'm coming from with that. I don't know that in time I'm going to say the soundtrack is as memorable as it was, or because it certainly wasn't a standout. I do agree with you in hindsight, now that I'm thinking about it. It wasn't as like featured. There were no there weren't like songs featured per se. Like there wasn't like that musical number in the mall from the first one that you just remember that music because that whole scene was a musical sequence. So, I can agree with you on stuff like that. But I mean, I felt in the moment, I felt the vibe, everything.
And I have so many questions about the end, but again, we need to get into spoilers, please. Can we have spoilers?
Ask a certain rapper that I was really unfamiliar with, and now I want to learn more about. No spoilers. Okay, what else? Okay, I thought all the performances were great. I liked the history people. The effects were great. Bill and Ted felt like Bill and Ted. Not going to spoil anything, but the way they handled the whole George Carlin thing is great. I cannot think of the actor's name, but Tina Belcher. I loved her, even though I'm like, it's Tina Belcher, and she kind of looks like a grown-up Tina Belcher, and she's talking about her dad, and I'm like, but it's not Bob from Bob's Burgers. There's a new, adorable, lovable character in here. I'm not going to say who. Death. We didn't even mention Death.
Oh, yeah.
William Sadler's return is, again, just magnificent. And I love what they did with him. I think they played that well. Ted's dad is back. Nope, I don't want to say that because I haven't seen that in any of the marketing, so I don't want to say anything about. You're fine with how the movie starts. A certain character, a couple of certain characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, the premise is great. I loved it. I'm so glad I own it. I'll buy the 4K disc when it comes out. If they re-release this in theaters in our area, we can go see it in theaters when it's a little more appropriate to go to theaters. And again, I'm not, just in case you're wondering, I'm not telling anybody what to do on going to theaters or not. I'm not doing that. As much as I love going to theaters, I'm not quite comfortable with it. At least not for let's let some guinea pigs try it for a couple of weeks. at the very least. Although, had Regal booked this, I might have had to. Although, random note, I just noticed Cinemark, they were doing you can book out a whole theater for your friends, up to 20 friends. I was like, oh, that's a cool idea, but I bet that's incredibly expensive. You know how much it costs?
How much?
It's not cheap, but it's surprisingly reasonable. Consider an entire theater, and it's Cinemark, not Regal, but depending on your area, the range is $100 to $175 to take in 20 friends.
So that would be what, $5 a pop?
I mean, and even think about this. We have gone to movies where just for the tickets alone, by the time you do Fandango service fees, and I'm talking, of course, IMAX or whatever, it's cost $40-something for the two of us to go to a movie.
Now, I have a question.
With a crowd that annoys me.
That does include the movie, right?
That's the other thing I was thinking. It's it does include a movie, but then I'm but does it include, the new movie? Can I rent a theater for $100 and the two of us see Tenet with nobody? Because I'll fucking do that. Otherwise, y'all gotta wait on your Tenet review, because I ain't chancing it. But all right. Listen, we gotta get to spoilers.
Okay, yes, please.
And yeah, all right. But hey, let us know what you thought. No spoilers, please. And if you haven't seen it, careful. I gotta remember how to say all this. Careful of the comments, because sometimes people just spoil out of excitement. They don't even mean to be jerks or whatever. It just happens. But let us know if you're up to it, how you feel about it, where you're at with it, what you thought about the other ones versus this, all that kind of stuff. Geek out with us in the comments. We love hearing what you have to say. Other than that, you can click the thumbs up button. Give us that good old thumb of encouragement, as we do love to be encouraged. Check out the Patreon. $1 a month. No worries, no pressure if you can't afford it or whatnot. But I do a few movie reviews over there every week. It's a new video every day. Let's plays. I'm doing Star Wars games, Batman games, The Last of Us, crazy stuff. And food. I'm starting to do food videos over there. You can find that by looking up the Eric Butts. Use the links in the description below. I'm not mentioning Stardust because I quit doing Stardust because I wasn't enjoying it anymore. That's it. All right, we're going to get out of here. We're going to talk some spoilers, and we'll see you all later, dudes. Catch you later, all you YouTube dudes. I mean that gender neutral.
I started doing this. No, wait a minute.
Well, I mean, do you love them, or are you throwing the devil horns? Yeah, that's metal. I know people do this, but this is I love you. All right. Catch you later, past people. Bye.